Salutations, dear viewers. You're on with NeXeN of the Vast Nexus, and welcome to the next cave we're going to be tackling in the Ark Survival Evolved Highlight Series. This cave is located on Carnivore Island, or Dead Island. Given the protracted flight time to get here from my Life's a beach base down at the Footpaw, this island, however, does not require a great deal of directional knowledge in order to find. See that little landmass in the top right corner of the map? That's the island. Now, there are a few ways that this particular location can be tackled. One is to use a parachute to drop down and a Thylacoleo to climb back out. I wouldn't recommend that. The Thylacoleo can climb vertical surfaces, but doesn't handle inverse inclines or other odd geometry very well. You could also use an Archaeopteryx to glide down, or a Terrorbird. My recommendation, if you want to do this cave the easy way, and I've prototyped this cave doing it with the method I'm about to expound to you, is to use a Megalania and some bug spray. The cave is a very wide open space after an initial swim, which is extremely short. You don't even really need points in oxygen to get through it. Mind you, the cave is quite cold. I'd recommend fur armor, bringing some, I think it's Freya curry for greater hypothermal insulation. I initially attempted it with chitin. That turned out to be something of a mistake. Using the curry and a torch, though, kept me from freezing to death, so it's not super cold. But yes, because of the verticality of the cave, most of the ground predators simply can't reach you. However, the cave is filled with onyx, so a wise strategy to use is to use the spray in order to make sure that you don't end up getting swarmed. This particular attempt, however, is going to be a bit less of the subtle approach. I'm bringing Spelunky. As we know, Spelunky can handle a fight. America is here both as a sky crane to elevate Spelunky back onto the platform once we're done, but is also here to help make sure my Quetzal stays in the air. Carnivore Island is not a friendly place for any living creature, and the only safe place for my Quetzal is in the sky. So, the Quetzal will follow America. We will try to dive into the water. If that doesn't work, just uncouple from the creature shortly before landing. They only take fall damage when okay, so to avoid having America and the Quetzal aggro on the Sabertooth, I dove straight into the cave. You'll get more detail on how to navigate it in and out on the other side. So to see how readily this cave can be managed without using bug spray, I'm going to hold off of it except during an emergency. Now, this is my first time trying to navigate the cave using the surrounding footpaths. So I definitely recommend something that is capable of jumping, which is yet another mark of benefit for the baryonyx. You've got little gaps like this. If you can't jump, you might find yourself in a bit of a pickle. Get some light on the subject. Now I have, I want to say Fortitude 20. Nope, Fortitude 14, and in full fur, I am evidently protected from this cave's temperatures. The curry would probably offer me even more protection. In fact, I have curry to spare, so we're just going to eat some of it. And now I'm completely protected. Yeah, there are a bunch of little jumps. Like I said, I wouldn't attempt this without a mount that can handle some hard combat. There are a lot of Onyx in this cave, and there's no easy way of avoiding them. Now, I am beginning to run a little short on points that I can assign. I want some more stamina, but I also want about 20 fortitude. For now, we'll focus on fortitude. We have some caves coming up that are really going to need it. Another little jump. Another benefit of the berry, you can attack while mounted. If you're looking for an Onyx, the sheer number of them in this cave does make it a good location to make such an attempt. Now, it would seem this side path is something of a dead end. But I see obsidian. Another reason I came here with the berry instead of the Megalania. The Megalania's weight-bearing capacity, at least the one I'm using, is not stellar. I was hoping to come out of here with a decent supply of obsidian. And by all estimations, that appears as though it will be the case. Perhaps this is an alt path. So, the strategy, if you want to do this the easy way, would be to collect a Megalania from pretty much either of the two caves that I've released videos on previously. They're both easy enough. Particularly the southernmost cave, or the south-central cave. That cave is astonishingly easy, but you still have a chance of encountering a Megalania, which, if you're looking for one, is of benefit. Now, Spelunky's getting a little overloaded. I have such a generous quantity of meat, I'm going to discard the base meat. Baryonyx is very picky in terms of what it will eat and what it won't eat, and what it won't eat is anything other than fish meat. So the fish meat is useful for force healing my Baryonyx, the rest of the meat is pretty much disposable. So yeah, there's a spiral path, you don't need a Megalania, but if you go with the Megalania route, get some bug spray, you can be in and out without even having to worry about creatures aggroing. One exception, Pulmonoscorpus. As we know, Pulmonoscorpus will aggro on you regardless, but there are only a few of them in this cave compared to the Onyx and Araneo. Onyx seem to be the largest quantity, although that makes sense given the verticality of this cave layout. Onyx would pose the most threat to the player, and need I remind all of you that caves are meant to be challenging. Haven't even encountered Araneo yet. They're mostly concentrated at the bottom of the cave, which makes sense, I suppose. Despite their insectoid, or rather arachnid appearance, they are not capable of climbing walls, which is actually true of real-world large spiders. Tarantulas can only climb very mottled or broken-up surfaces. They can't climb smooth surfaces. Strictly speaking, no insect or arachnid can climb a smooth surface. They don't operate by suction or static attraction. They use tiny claws on their feet to grab imperfections in materials that are imperceptible to the human eye due to how minute they are. We see the smooth leg of a table, they see a cliff face, like the sort of thing you'd see in a rock climbing gym. The weight of all that obsidian is starting to add up. Oh, there's a floating cave loot drop. Oh, a terror bird saddle. And my first blueprint for fur. All the fur I'm wearing right now is primitive because I had to work on... Yeah, there is the mass of onyx up ahead. I'm surprised I didn't encounter any Araneo on the way down. Once again, I scouted this cave ahead of time, using the subtle strategy that I would recommend to you if you don't have a nice, big, strong berry like I do. Uh-oh. Let's just get you two out of the way before anything bad happens. Although, I do still need to tame an onyx. They might prove useful. Especially since I'm not bound by the issue of... I'm not bound by the issue of potentially freezing to death while waiting for them to tame this time around. Okay, I think that's all the obsidian up here. Yeah, the berry is getting too heavy. Let's drop anything that is not mission essential. And its weight is now just within tolerance. We have a significant issue. Yeah, we're going to also huck some of that fish meat. Seems wasteful, but I need to keep the berry's weight down. Okay, that group... I don't doubt that the berry could handle it, but we're going to go ahead and use the spray. We can walk right past them and they should just ignore us. These two are far enough out. Okay, they want rotten meat. Level 64, that's not bad. Yeah, we'll definitely go for the level 64. Now, these things can be relentlessly unpredictable. Oh, right. It's not... It wants meat. Well, I ditched all my meat. Well, that's problematic. Luckily, there's a simple solution. We don't have prime meat this time, though. You know what? We're going to forego trying to capture an onyx here. It is certainly a great location for the purpose. Just with the sheer quantity of them. So if you're looking for taming an onyx, and you haven't been a dum-dum like me and bring the wrong food source, this is probably the go-to location for the job. Naturally, they're all positioned in the way of the artifact. Looks like we're going to have to clear them out. Or we can be exceptionally clever. There we go. And here we have it. Artifact of the Devourer. That's a lot of onyx. The tricky part will be finding a good latch point on the way out. There we go. Grappling hooks can be expensive, but they can be invaluable in situations like this. And that's it. Apart from the unavoidable encounters with enemies due to the cave's wide open nature, a little bit of bug spray and you're good. You're solid. You can be in and out of this place without so much as raising an alarm. Like I said, there were no pulmonoscorpus that I encountered this time around, but they do spawn in this cave, so be mindful of that. They will not be affected by your bug spray. You'll also definitely want a jumping mount for those sections. That was a little dicey. Baryonyx just seems to be a good overall mount for cave diving. Apart, of course, from other suitable species. Megalania, like I said, Megalania is great for this. And jump. Jump. And I believe... Yep, we are back at the cave entrance. Be nice to have a source of light when I go through the water this time. Interesting. Raptors are not good swimmers. This is true. I haven't encountered a Megalosaurus down here yet, so... for real? There's those sabers we aggroed. Lag spike incoming. Oh, this is actually a little convenient for our purposes. Although I don't know why America's down here. Or indeed why, if America was down there, Flatbed Air was holding its position. So yeah, that probably seemed a bit easier than the ones I've done previously. To some extent, it's because there was. It's a wide open space with the right armor, the thermal issue ceases to be one, and the fact that Onyx represent probably the main threat you'll encounter in the cave, a bit of bug spray and you're good. I mean, with Spelunky here, I didn't even need to use the bug spray, technically. I have no doubt Spelunky would have been able to handle the group of Onyx, but I used the bug spray to avoid detection for taming attempt, which went wrong because I don't have the right food source for taming. Anyway, all that's going to be left here is a long, protracted flight back to home base on the southern half of the island. As I mentioned, I am quite a ways away from it right now. It's almost on the opposite end of the island. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're all staying happy and healthy out there in the uncertain world we live in today. And as always, fare thee well.